Today's verse of the day, Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 through 14. But one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal. Keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles you face, no matter what setbacks come along during your journey. It's important that you know to keep moving forward and keep pursuing the purpose or the goal that you're chasing in your life. Because the moment you stop is the moment when all motion, all action and activities contributing towards this purpose or towards this goal fail. Because you're no longer putting in the effort or the action to pursue the thing. All the momentum and progress you have has now gone away. So keeping focused and staying on a forward-minded reality or forward-minded perspective helps you overcome all obstacles, all challenges, all setbacks, all things that try to derail you along the way. It keeps you focused on the journey at hand, on the goal at hand, and it's just a simple reminder to not give up. Because most people do give up, and when they do give up, all that was once possible was no longer possible. So keep moving forward on your journey. With that being said, let's get to the charts. What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Here we have the Monday chart loaded on the SPY chart, ticker symbol SPY, 5-minute time frame. As you guys see here, we had a pretty much a sell-off going into the opening bell. We reclaimed our levels at looks to be 708.7, in other words 709. Going into the opening of the day, we retested 709.3, saw some rejections come in, and I was taking the bear side mentality because I was seeing that we had a little bit of a gap down, and then we kind of were still holding below our levels of support. But I did see that we had a major level of support at 706. So I knew that my target would be around 706. I just wanted to see if it would go early in the morning and early in the week. We unfortunately didn't go right at the beginning of the session. However, this is where I did look to take a position, and we just missed that position once we saw it fail to go below the pre-market high and the orb low. So once I saw it fail to do that, I then decided to take calls, seeing that it was holding above our levels of resistance. And so I did take calls and catch a little bit of a move to this orb high range, but then we started to kind of wick in between the orb high and the orb low for about an hour almost, which is what caught me up in this move. Was a lot of choppiness. I was looking for moves to the upside, we were failing to go up. I was looking for moves to the downside, we were failing to go down. So it was kind of just going back and forth. But then shortly after failing below these EMAs, we started to then see failure below the orb low, where we then saw an aggressive move to the downside going into 10 o'clock. And at this time, I wasn't looking at the charts, I was doing other things. So I missed out on the opportunity to the move to the downside, but then we saw a reversal going back higher. And this is where I tried to get back into the market and get back into this move. However, unfortunately, I was just unable to execute and catch this move because it failed to go lower and pretty much held a very tight range between 708.5 and 707 for the remainder of the day. As you guys see, very, very tight price action, very, very small movement, and the move kind of died out after this 1030 candle right here. So that was it for me. We had an initial winning move, but we tried to catch continuation. So within trying to catch the continuation, we were unable to come out of the day profitable. And this is kind of what set the tone for the week, for me at least, because overall we did not have a good trading week personally. And I think it was just due to a lot of moves like this where we see choppy price action and just a lot of ideas that just weren't right at the right time. And so we're going to talk more about the other trades we took. So let's move on to Tuesday and talk about what trades we took on Tuesday. All right, ladies and gents, here we have the Tuesday chart loaded up back on SPY. Here you guys see we had some initial hold of previous day levels, but then going into the session, we started to see a curl up and then a curl back to the downside and failing to get back above this previous high from last week around 712.50. We reached all the way up to 711.27, where we then saw selling pressure come into the market. Failing to hold 706, we then pushed a lot lower later in the day, but we were trying to take downside movement once more after seeing this initial open. Failing to push higher once more, I decided to try to take puts, but I was catching it at the wrong time once again. So I had a lot of little losses that stopped me out of my move and essentially built up a pretty significant loss for the day. By accumulating multiple small losses, we essentially assumed a bigger loss initially in the day. However, then we caught this move. We then caught this move here from 711.27 going all the way back down below the orb high and reaching closer to about 708.6. We took full profits at this point. We didn't have as much size as our prior trades, and so we reclaimed most of our loss for the day, but we were still negative. So I was trying to take more positions and I was unable to continue to execute off of this trade just because of, once again, small stop losses kind of stopped me out, and having too tight of a risk to where every time I got in a position, it would wake me out of my position and then, fall lower. As you guys see, it went lower and lower and lower, but we were getting caught in the wrong moves and essentially getting triggered. Our stop losses triggered, and that caused me to not be able to execute and capitalize on the rest of this move. So all in all, we ended up having a negative day once again on Tuesday, which was pretty much a bummer to me because I was just very frustrated with my way of showing up this week and way of executing. We didn't really get the moves that I wanted to have happen in the way I expected them to happen, because they did happen. They just didn't happen while I was in it. So I didn't capitalize on a lot of these moves that you guys see. And it's just unfortunate. It was very frustrating for me this week just because I was having the right ideas, but not being able to capitalize off it. So it's like kind of driving me a little crazy a little bit. So we were unable to fully execute off of this trade. We did catch some of it, but essentially gave back those gains after trying to get continuation at the right time. And yeah, because you guys see here all this wick back and forth. That's what I had to deal with for almost 2 hours, and we didn't catch the rest of this move until after 12 o'clock. And then from there we saw a reversal. Then it went back lower, but failed to hold this trend. So we went a little bit higher, then getting a failure again, then bouncing again, and that was the close of the day. So it's pretty crazy price action. A lot of movement happening at random moments, if you look at it from my perspective, but you can also look at it from different perspectives as well and see it happening at the right time. You just have to kind of pay attention to what it's doing. So it's retracing to previous levels of resistance or previous levels of demand and making those big moves at those levels. And you have to use that move or that level as a stop loss or as an entry point so that you can capitalize off this move. And that's what I started to realize going into later days of the week. It just took me a lot longer than it was supposed to, in my opinion, to notice this pattern so I could execute on it. And so that's what I did going into Wednesday. So let's move on to Wednesday. All right, ladies and gents, here we have the Wednesday chart loaded on the SPY chart. Now, as I mentioned, I was noticing the pattern that we had happening in the market where we were pretty much respecting levels. We were respecting levels of demand. We were respecting levels of resistance. So I knew where my major levels of demand and resistance were. Because as you guys see here, we started to clamp up and kind of just range bound, being a range bound session essentially. And this really happened on Wednesday. We were definitely range bound. As you guys see, we held between 708 and 711.45 for a majority of the day, but we were just going up and down. It was a barcode day. We were just going up and down, and the price action just really was not there that day. So we just were not able to get the ideal idea that I had going from Tuesday into Wednesday, and we were just caught up in chop. We held an upside move, which I caught a little bit of after seeing it hold the orb. We broke above the orb, and I looked at this candle here holding that level. Using this previous candle as a stop loss or as a target price, I looked to take target trims into that. We took most trims out at that point. Then we held there for a minute. Then we got stopped aggressively on this move back down to the orb high, and that was really it. That was the only trade I really took. We tried to take some downside moves later in the day, but they just never showed any sign of continuation. And so that kind of made me break even on the day. And that was it. So we had a very range bound day this day. I couldn't really execute on too much of any resistance or too much any demand because it wasn't really reaching those levels. It was just staying in the same range, and you just had to respect it. But you guys notice these orb levels here, these gray lines forming on the same levels. We literally had no real movement. Every single day we would retrace back to 708 or 709, bounce up a little bit, then see some rejections, or go down a little bit and see a bounce. So we just really weren't having a lot of good conviction and good high quality moves. And so for me, I noticed that, and I decided to reduce more risk even more so that I don't lose an account or lose any more equity than I already have going into this week. So that's what we did going into Thursday and Friday, and we had way better results. So let's move on to Thursday and talk about what trades we took on Thursday. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I just want to say thank you all for watching. If you guys are new, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, turn on the notification bell. And if you guys want to learn more about how to day trade, I have a free day trading course on my website at www.continuebelief.com. There you'll get all the information and resources needed to help you guys learn more on your journey to day trading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get back to it. All right, ladies and gents, here we have the Thursday chart loaded. As I said, we reduced risk, and not only did we reduce risk, but we reduced our focus and just really locked in on looking for quick in and out moves that we can capitalize on and respect what the market's been doing. The market's been holding up for majority of this week, so we decided to follow the upside trend in the initial opening bell candles, and so that's what we did. We looked to take calls after seeing this failure to go lower below 709. We saw it hold 709, and so with that candle holding 709, I took a position using that candle as a stop loss, and we were able to ride this back to the high of day and then break out and go into new high of day levels, where we then retested our resistance level. But at this time, I was not able to take this trade. I did take profits mostly at the previous high candle, and then I just held runners until I got stopped out later in the day. And once this pivot happened, I really wasn't focused on taking any more trades just because of the week that I had. I was kind of mentally exhausted. I wanted to take a break from taking trades and just really focus on winning these days. So having a winning day Thursday and having a winning day Friday was my focus going into the end of the week. So I didn't take any more trades, but the move that I've been looking for happening on the bear side finally happened after we retested 712.50. We saw a very aggressive failure and pushed down to 702 all the way into 1245-ish. Then we had a reversal going back up to the levels of 709 and 710. But then we're kind of range bound going into the end of the day, and we closed the day out right back at 708.94. So we had an aggressive sell-off, then we had an aggressive buy-up, and people bought the dip, and we pushed back up. And then we moved on to Friday and had the range that we had happen on Friday. So let's talk about what trades we took on Friday. All right, ladies and gents, here we have the Friday chart loaded on the SPY chart. As you guys see, we held that level of 708 and 709 going from Thursday into the opening bell of Friday. Once I noticed that we were holding, I decided that, okay, once again, if the market is holding these levels, then it's showing that it's strong and it's not wanting to fail. So I just acknowledged that and respected that it wasn't failing. After seeing it have numerous wicks down here, we failed to go lower, so I decided to be on the call side. And with being on the call side, we were able to capitalize on the move to the upside all the way up to 714. I unfortunately wasn't in it at this time. I got out of it right around this level here after we retraced back down below our previous low candle, at 711.5. I stopped out, but as soon as I stopped out, it literally had a very aggressive push higher, breaking above that previous week and previous day high of 712.50, reaching all the way up to 714, and I believe closing the day out at 713.34. So really good price action. Very happy with the way things played out. Closed at 714 actually. And that was the week. We had a very, very rough start, but then we finished pretty well. So I was happy about the way I finished. I wasn't happy about the way I started. And sometimes on your journey, that's just gonna be the way things roll. You know, the way things play out is that you're not gonna have a great start, but you know, you can restructure things and maneuver in a way that helps you pivot and get back on track to finishing better. So that's how we finished off the week. I was happy with it, finished it, and hopefully we carry that momentum going into next week to have better execution, better results, and you know, just really outstanding results. That's really what the focus is. And I'm not saying outstanding in a way that, well, actually I am saying it out in a way that is life-changing and really helps pivot and makes things around me change. So that's going to be the focus going into next week. But really, all in all, it's about perspective, because I think that my perspective on the market is right. It's just the timing of it is wrong. So a lot of times you'll have a perspective or a belief of something, and sometimes you might be right. A lot of times you might be right. It's just the timing of when you think it. It might be too early for everything else around you to be at that point, but mentally you're already there. So you just have to adapt into understanding how you can execute and win in the current time, and then also keep that thought in the back of your mind, or that idea in the back of your mind, to never forget and be prepared for said thing to happen. You know, a lot of signs showed weakness to me in the market, but the market wasn't going lower. It wasn't selling off. We were holding levels. We were holding, you know, prices. And so I had to adapt to that mentality of, okay, well, the market's not really doing any kind of selling, so I should just not try to keep selling until it shows me that it's weak. Once it shows you that it's weak, now you have the confirmation of the belief. So yeah, that's my thought process on this week, and that's how I hope to execute going into next week, is to keep up this momentum that I had finishing off the week, carry it over to next week. But with that being said, let's talk about what levels we can watch and what we can expect to see happen going into next week. So here we have the 4-hour chart loaded for SPY, and man, we had a pretty wildly range-bound week, from lows of 702 to highs of 712.50 to breaking out 712.50 going into Friday and closing the day out above that level. What can we expect to see happen going into next week? What are our levels to watch? For me, the levels to watch are going to be the 712.50, the 706, and the 703. If we can hold above our 712.50, we can see us reach into new price action. So new price targets to be hit. I think that 715 or 716 will be the next level of resistance to watch for, to see how we respond to those levels. If we reject there and we fell back below 712, I think that we can see all the way down to about 709. Looks to be a level that is pretty consistent. So we have 709 on the intraday. If we get there, we can see a level that possibly holds there. If we fell below that level, we can see a retest of 706. If we fell below 706, we can see a retest of 703 to 702. So yeah, those will be the levels to watch in my opinion. You have 4 levels here, and then you have some levels that you might want to reach to. So about 716 is what I mentioned will be the next level of resistance that I watch for. If we bounce off of this 712.50, we can see a retest of that level, or a reach of that level possibly, and see how we respond there. If we open these ranges, of course, these will be levels to watch. So all in all, we had a pretty good week. It's showing signs of strength, as you guys see it holding more and more. We had a very aggressive run up. We pretty much based there, and now we're breaking out above that base. So as long as we hold above this base, we're still bullish, and we have more room to run a lot higher. Comment below your thoughts. Let me know if you guys think this week will be a bullish week or a bearish week. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you guys being on the bull side, taking plays that are calls, or are you guys on the bear side taking plays that are puts? Let me know in the comments. But With that being said, this is going to be your latest episode of Market Predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure if you guys are new to leave a like, follow, and subscribe. Make sure to turn on that notification bell. Tune in tomorrow for our Rich on Gains podcast that releases every single Monday at 6:30 p.m. It's your boy CB checking in with you guys. I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe, stay blessed.